Chapter 1, or Hope. I was born hungry. Being in mother's womb wasn't particularly nice. Rather, it was familiar. Being inside mother was like being covered in a pile of rags and then suddenly not. The weight of the rags was everything until I was expelled in a mixture of blood and waste. I was happy to be free, but I missed the fullness of mother's insides, and my 2 siblings crowded around me. But I was free. Instead of vying for food inside of mother, I was cast out, cold and afraid. The world was bright, so bright I could still see it behind closed eyelids. I was without mother's rags and hungry. I missed the darkness sometimes. It was too warm and I couldn't see anything, but I felt a safety that I still long for. I would spend time in different colonies searching for that sameness, but it always seemed outside my reach. In the early days of our birth, mother let us suckle the thin, watery milk from her teats. She always dried up before we were full. After a while, she stopped offering herself to us, leaving us to fend for ourselves. The colony of our birth was located behind a large brick building. Humans arrived in their big metal moving things. They made such loud noises from their mouths. Their feet made heavy thudding sounds as they made their way towards the building. They disappeared inside for hours and came out again when it was dark and the moon was bright. Some of them left bowls of kibble and water, and the biggest and strongest of the colony got to them first. In the early weeks after our birth, mother would bring us a few morsels, but like her milk, her generosity soon dried up. Brother, sister, and I attempted to eat and drink with everyone else, but we were quickly batted away, snarled, and hissed at. Everyone was hungry, and it was everyone for themselves. Eventually, my siblings and I took to the streets neighboring our colony in search of bits of food or puddles of water to drink from. We made a game of it, swatting one another away and nipping each other's ears. We stayed close to bushes, ran through tall grasses, anything to keep from the sight of humans. Although they fed us, they stayed on the outskirts of our colony. We took that to mean they wanted nothing to do with us. That was fine. Their noises and smells were scary anyway. The months after our birth were filled with something that I still cannot name. It felt like a full belly and licks from mother's dry tongue. As my siblings and I grew older, our vision improved. It was such a joy to be able to see. I could see 1,000 colors on the wings of flying insects, and it was a fun game to try to reach up and snag one. They usually escaped my grasp. But every once in a while, I caught one in between my paws, and I lay for long stretches of time staring at it through a small hole between my digits. Open, close, open, close. I played this game with the insect, letting its wings flutter when it thought it would escape. Just before it could take flight, I covered it up again. I kept doing this until it stopped moving completely. Then I ate it. No matter how many times a day brother, sister, and I left the colony, we always returned. Sometimes there were more bodies than when we left, sometimes less. We always sought out mother. She nuzzled our faces, her whiskers brushing over our fur for a few brief moments before she lost interest and went to wait for the humans to refill the bowls. I felt in my bones that the day would come when a bowl waited for each and every one of us, and a swarm of insects hovered over our heads waiting to be plucked from the sky.